Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the function.
Hello, welcome.
And welcome back.
Today we're going to go through all of our books that we have read in this first quarter of the year. So that's January, February, and March.
We got lots of books coming at you.
Mhm.
She read 20, I read 16.
And we're going to, most of them we don't have in person, but they will
It's
pop
okay,
up.
we'll pop them here.
All right, let's get into it. Your first book of 2026.
Sunrise on the Reaping. I was trying to finish it before the year was over, but unfortunately I went a little over. I rated Sunrise on the Reaping 4 stars. Sunrise on the Reaping, if you don't know, I'm going to stop saying the title, is by Suzanne Collins. It's the POV of Haymitch.
Yep, Haymitch.
Haymitch Abernathy. So we're following Haymitch Abernathy and his turn through the Hunger Games and how he defeated everyone. Sorry, spoiler alert, kind of. Not really. He's still alive, so.
I mean, he's obviously what do they call him? Victor?
Yeah,
he's a victor, so obviously he won. Wasn't it the first quarter quell?
First or second? Because I think he was the 5th.
No, I think Katniss was the 5th.
He was the 75th. He was the 3rd quarter quell.
Oh.
It was a quarter quell.
Mm-hmm. So it was a big one.
Yes.
I read that last year. It was amazing.
I thought it was really good. The reason it really bumped it down to 4 stars is because of the fact that it was the ending. Again, these endings are very underwhelming, and I'm very sad about that.
I think they're going to bring a new one.
I really hope they do.
Oh, well. We'll see.
Right.
The first book that I read in January, or finished in January, started in December, finished in January, was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I gave this 5 stars. First book of the year, 5 stars. Is it going to be a movie? Okay.
Something you're just narrating the cover.
Okay, so The Nightingale is about 2 sisters in World War II. I was going to say 3.
No, that's starting now. That's not historical yet.
2 sisters in World War II. One is very much family-centered and kind of in denial of what's happening, and the other one is very proactive and very conscious of oh, this is war times and whatever the Nazis are doing is wrong, and I'm going to be on the right side of things and go out and do things to help people. So they have a strained relationship, and it kind of goes between the 2 perspectives.
Did you just say estranged?
Strained.
Okay.
Clarifying
for the viewers and for myself.
A strained relationship. So it flips between their 2 perspectives, and their relationship with their dad is also kind of iffy. So it kind of goes through that. It's a very beautiful story. I absolutely ate it up. And not because it was ooh rah rah. It was very sad. Ooh rah rah. Yeah, it's a very sad, beautiful story.
Did you sob?
I don't cry when I read books. I'm sorry.
You better for Winter Garden.
If I didn't cry for this, I don't know if I'm enough for Winter Garden. Have you read this?
No.
Oh. I think you should. I listened to some of it and I read some of it, so I highly recommend. I gave it 5 stars. Okay, that's my first book of 2026.
I'm also going to add a quick, if the scene does keep changing, it's because we're perfecting our setup. Sorry, not sorry.
So yeah, we don't know where we're going to be every time.
Especially because this chair
is very
fucking creaks every single time I move, so this is not a permanent setup.
Just sit still.
And these books are going to keep rearranging because absolutely no way this is how it's staying. We did this yesterday with after moving for 12 hours straight. So
yeah. At the end, we were just throwing shit in, so it's gonna change.
You'll see. I was just dancing.
All right, and your next book?
She's like, stop talking. My next book of 2026 is Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. Yes, that is how you pronounce it. Multiple people say Liz Tom Ford. We did look it up. I listened to an audiobook. It is Liz Tom Ford, PSA. So this is the first book of the Windy City series, and it takes place mostly in an airplane, sometimes in Chicago, and sometimes in other states. We're following Sanders and Stevie, while Stevie is a flight attendant, and Sanders is the co-captain?
Oh, yeah. Co-captain of the hockey team.
Yeah, he's the co-captain of the hockey team, Chicago's hockey team. It follows their relationship and how they fall in love.
And it's very much not necessarily enemies to lovers, but
yeah, that was a bogus enemies to lovers. It's like a frenemies to lovers.
Yeah. It's kind of like my boss will fire me if we talk. But
I like you. I rated it 4 stars. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a cute little romance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always fun to read about your own areas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you didn't know, we live in southern Wisconsin.
Near Chicago.
Yeah. Another one that I should have read in December, but did not.
That's this one too. I literally finished it one day after December.
Our December book club book, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I finished this before book club, I think. Yeah. It's a YA romance.
Yes.
It's kind of fantasy, kind of not.
It's more mythical.
Yeah. It's about this girl who goes to a school and is like a writer. I can't remember. I think there's like something about like this man who was like really highly renowned a writer, and for some reason she has this like nightmare or like sees this like evil elfish king.
Yeah,
that like
king.
the elf king that like comes and like steals some lady and kidnaps her, and he's bad news.
You're trying to think about where we're going. I do not remember this story, guys. He's bad news. Oh, I love that. That was good. That was really good.
This story sucked.
It really did. No, it was just extremely slow. Like, this was worse than... What was the one we both just agreed was extremely slow?
Where the crawdads sing.
Yeah, this was worse than that. It was so slow.
And then all of a sudden she's hallucinating things, and it's just like, what is going on? She literally jumped out of the car because the guy whose house they were staying at, who's like the son or the nephew of this renowned writer or something, I don't know. She was in the car with them, la-di-da-di-da, driving back to the house because they went wherever, and she looks over at him, sees the Elf King, jumps out of the car.
Well, she's not hallucinating. Spoiler alert. It is the Elf King.
Which is creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Also, the only other spoiler alert I have to say about this book is she literally kills this fictional character that is big bad menace, like, worse than the freaking Germans in World War II. Okay?
Okay.
She kills him in 2 lines. In 2 lines.
With a piece of glass
That she picks up from the window that she broke, or the mirror that she broke, or something. Or she
it's like some special glass.
Yeah. She doesn't even stab him. She shows him his reflection in the mirror.
I think it needs a 1 star.
I gave
it 3. But thinking back on it, 1. I'm changing my review tonight. I
Worse
swear.
than Hopeless Things Devoted?
Yeah, I think that should be one too.
Yeah, we have strong feelings.
My God.
Moving on. Oh, back to a 5-star. Daisy Jones and the Six. 5 stars. You guys saw me reading this one. I really didn't give many opinions, and I'm so sorry. That was my first ever reading vlog that I've ever filmed. As you can tell on this channel, our filming capabilities have drastically changed. So,
Constantly.
I have not yet watched the show for this, but I still very much want to. I'm just not a show person, so it's kind of hard for me to get into that. This book solidified for me that I love interview style novels. I know that's sometimes hit or miss for people, but I really like that. This book follows Daisy Jones while she's joining the band, the Six, which they're originally the Dunn brothers, but then they slowly incorporate more and more people, and then finally Daisy Jones joins, and it's just a heartbreakingly beautiful story about tragedy, love, rock and roll, everything. I love it. It's so good. If you haven't read it, you have to. She's never read it. I'm just now remembering that, and that's why she's staring at you like that.
Yeah, like I have zero context. I just know it's a really good book that I haven't read yet. So, our mics weren't recording that whole time, but we will not be recording that.
Yeah, no, we've had too many problems tonight. That's just gonna stay how it is. I'm so sorry, guys. We're new YouTubers. We have 30 subscribers.
Sorry, no, we're not going to. Anyway.
My next book is Heated Revelry by Rachel Reed. It is an MM romance. It's hockey. It's about two rivals on two different teams who have a relationship and meet each other before they go like pro on this like summer recruitment something. It's like a I don't know any of the hockey things, but it's like before they're like drafted into the professional hockey
NHL?
league or whatever. But they like meet because they're staying at the same hotel and they spend the night together. It goes from there.
Slow burn AF.
But it is steamy. It is very spicy. I have never read an MM romance before the series. I started with The Game Changers, which is the first book. I went into this. And this one, well, The Game Changers was good. This was even better. And then I turned around and watched the show, and it was really good. That's all I can say. I gave this 4.5 stars.
My next two books are not with us, but it's A Letter to the Luminous Deep and A Letter from the Lonesome Shore. You also saw these in the same reading vlog with Daisy Jones and the Six, so I won't go too into depth. I gave Letter to the Luminous Deep 4 stars and Lonesome Shore 3 stars. I really thought this story was beautiful, and I think the covers of the books are even more beautiful, and I think that's why I'm still holding on. But I thought this story was a really interesting telling of like if humans were to live underground or under the sea, how that would look. And it was very beautiful. So this book is following our female main character, insert her name here, as she and our male main character, insert name here,
corresponding through letters.
Yeah, this whole book is told in letters or like archives or anything that's written down. But these two individuals are very anxious people, very introverted creatures that they're humans. That
creatures.
We just see their relationship developing because they are gone missing, and the sister and the brother of the respected siblings are corresponding to try and figure out what happened to the sister and brother, because the sister of the female main character doesn't believe that they're actually dead. And just a long story about all of that. It is very, very slow, but I think the imagery is very beautiful, and if you enjoy more literary type of fiction, this would definitely float your boat. Ha.
This was one of our book club books, so I also read it at some point in this list and rated it, I think, 2.5 stars. Very, very far down the list, but I'll say it now. I rated it 2.5 stars just because it was so slow and the letters were so long. Not long, but like it was hard to read the letters for me.
Yeah, they are longer than what you would think if you're thinking about a book full of letters. It's beautiful imagery and beautiful language because it is more like proper English, longhand English. It did what it wanted to do. It just might not be for everyone.
My next book is Tough Guy, which is the third book in the Game Changer series. I don't have it yet. I actually listened to all of these, and I'm waiting for it to be cheaper to buy it. This was my least favorite so far. It is about a separate hockey player who is a goalie, I believe. That doesn't sound right. Separate hockey player known for getting into fights, and the other male main character is someone that he knows from his childhood when he was staying with his family to go to this specific school to play hockey. So that male main character has a complicated relationship with hockey players. Then they bump into each other and they reconnect, and it goes from there. It just wasn't my favorite of the ones that I've read so far, so this one is 3.25 stars for me.
My next book for January was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I picked this up on a whim because it lost one of the polls for the TBR video, and I really wanted to read it anyways, so I ate it up very quickly. I actually really enjoyed this book. It had everything that you wanted in a quick little sports romance. I think me reading two hockey romances back to back did bring the rating down a little bit. I don't remember specifics about the book itself. I think there was a couple of things that made me cringe a little bit, maybe felt a little unrealistic and wishy-washy in like, when I say unrealistic, I mean in a not good way. Like obviously in some rom-coms things are going to be unrealistic, but in this one it was more of a like, come on, really? Like we didn't say that, we didn't do that. 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it.
My next book that I read in January was continuing the Game Changers series. This book is called A Common Goal. I don't currently have that one either because I'm waiting for that one to be cheaper to buy because they're very expensive because they're very popular right now. Common Goal is about a goalie. This one is a goalie on a team. I think he is either on Ilya from Heated Rivalry or Shane. One of their teams. I can't remember which one. It's probably Shane. He and his wife got a divorce, and he's watching the first couple in Game Changers be together and like plan to like get married and just be happy around each other and stuff. And he's like a divorced individual.
Guys, Jordan sometimes just likes to state the obvious one more time. And it's just so fun. It's just so funny.
The goalie is recently divorced, and they go to this bar. And this is the bar that Kit from the first book works at. And his friend, who has always had a crush on him, works there. So they're both like kind of hung up on those two from the first book. And I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to in the beginning. It was 3.75 stars for me.
Love.
The next book in January that I read was Fallen Stars. This is the second book in the Heavenly Bodies series, which was our book club book for November.
How do you remember that?
I don't know.
Okay,
Probably because it was in my reading vlog and I kept bringing it up.
Yeah.
Fallen Stars, we follow Alara and Enzo and like their continuation of their story from Heavenly Bodies. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give spoilers on the second book.
I am going to steal it tonight. I hope you know that.
Yay. But it continues that story, and we find a lot more about the stars and the celestials and what all happened there. And then you also kind of go on a little adventure to one of the other kingdoms, which is like Neptune. I think I'm saying that wrong. Neptuina. That sounds wrong. Something else. And this one has a lot of sea aspects because they're traveling via ship to a different kingdom. But I gave this 4 stars. It was very good. It was slow in the beginning, but then it really picked up. It was good. Also, I realized I talked about Fallen Stars in my vlog. If you want to hear more details,
more in-depth thoughts,
go watch that. I also read Frozen River in that vlog, and this was amazing. It's a historical fiction novel about
it put her in her historical fiction era
that I never continued. So this book is about Martha, and she is a midwife who also is considered not like a medical examiner to like identify cause of death, but she does have that capability in this time period. Colonial times, like 1700s, 1789 to be exact, where women are not valued, their opinions are not credited the way that they are now, kind of. Much more now.
She digresses.
But anyway, there was a body that was found in the river in the winter. Cause of death leans towards murder, which is what she insinuates during like a town court meeting that they have weekly. And then this doctor recently moved to town, and because he's a doctor and kind of outranks her because he's a man and a doctor instead of a midwife.
Brother got that
Harvard degree.
I was going to say PhD, but it's not a PhD. Brother got that MD.
He says, yeah, no, it was an accident. He fell in the river and then got all these marks and bruises and lacerations and stuff from floating down the river. And Martha's like,
right.
He looks like he was strangled and then thrown in the river. But anyway.
4.5 stars for Frozen River.
My next book of January, my last book of January, was an audiobook, nonfiction actually, so I do not have a rating, but I really loved it. It's Anxious Generation by Jonathan Hibelt Balti. I don't have it in front of me, and I do not know how to pronounce it. I love this book. I still really think everyone should read it. It gave a lot of insight, stuff that we already know, such as the way that phones have truly, truly ruined our mental health, and no one's really taking that seriously. He gives a lot of evidence and a lot of hard facts. Points out that he cannot say for a fact that cell phones are the reason why, but he gives a lot of different evidence that shows that cell phones are very much the reason why, and he gives some advice as to how you can manage and how the brain development works and how you can adjust so that you're not giving your kid a bunch of anxiety and depression. Because I don't know if you know this, if you've ever thought, there's a lot of people getting diagnosed with ADHD, depression, anxiety, like we're just overdiagnosing. No, it's because the phone came out for our generation, and so we grew up with cell phones that have really, truly fucked up your mental health. You might not think it. I didn't think that it ruined mine, but then I found out I had anxiety, and all of the dots are connecting as to why I have anxiety. So if you're curious as to know more, if you're curious as to how you can stop the cycle, if you're curious as to how you can yourself maybe understand where you're coming from and why you have even some of these addictive tendencies towards your phone and social media, I so highly recommend this book. And he includes a website link where he continually updates all of the information that's in this book so that he doesn't fall behind. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
My last book in January is That One Night by Emily Rath. It is a prequel novella to Pucking Around. So it is included in the book that I have. I think these books were republished, so it was a novella at one point. But it's a prequel. Anyway, it's about a female main character, male main character, bump into each other at a hotel bar. The female main character is being hit on by some nasty, creepy dudes at the bar. And this guy comes up and, like, pretends that he is her brother, which he has a twin who he was supposed to be meeting in, I think, Seattle. Seattle.
You've got me hooked. This sounds good.
It is good. He was supposed to meet his twin sister in Seattle to do like a trip or whatever, and she's in Seattle for her brother's wedding. And they like meet at the bar, and then they go up to the bedroom and they spend a couple days together. Highly recommend. But I did only give it 2.75 stars because it's a novella, and novellas kind of are just low rated for me in general.
My first book of February was The Right Move by Liz Ford. This one is following Ryan and Indy. Indy is Stevie's best friend. Indy and Stevie meet as flight attendants for the hockey team last year, and they're best friends. Ryan is Stevie's twin brother. He plays for Chicago's basketball team, and I will say no more, honestly, because technically even just knowing that it's Ryan and Indy is a spoiler, so you're welcome.
Rating?
I rated The Right Move 4 stars. I liked the basketball a lot more than the hockey, I think, because I knew a lot more because I played basketball in high school. And I think there was a lot more... I know it's the same rating, but I liked this one more than that one. There's...
Period.
I'm not really sure what it was about their relationship, but something about their relationship I really liked a lot more than Stevie and Sanders. Oh. Run it back.
Good.
Oh.
Oh no, it died.
Nuh-uh.
My first book in February is Harry Potter and a Cursed Child. I read this on my way to New York, where I was going to watch the Broadway play and then did not. So this is written in play format, so it's very much like scene 1, scene 2, so-and-so comes through the stage. If you watched my travel vlog, you know exactly how I felt about this because I went into detail. I gave this 4 stars, and I love the Harry Potter franchise, so that's all I gotta say.
My second book of February is the first book of the technical second book, but the first book of my reading vlog, Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I did mention The Right Move in that video, but I did not go into depth about it because I finished it as I started the video. Anyways, that's beside the point. Same Time Next Summer, I gave 4 stars. This was a very, very quick read. These chapters were very short. I do go into depth about that in the reading vlog. Female main character and the male main character were best friends in childhood, and the female main character is engaged to this man. Boo, we don't like him. Yada, yada, yada. The 2 childhood best friends come back together. But yeah, so 4 stars. It was a quick read. It was nice. I enjoyed reading it in the sun.
My next book for February is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I have had this book for a long time.
Oh my god, wait, we never even talked about this. Did you like it?
I loved it.
So you like Christina Lauren! That's why I just thought of that.
All Christina Lauren books that I've read in the past, I think, are like on her backlog. It was like The Roomies and Hazel Something's Guide to Dating. I didn't like them. I read this book, gave it 4 stars. This book is about a single mom, Jessica Davis.
Sorry, immediately popped in my head. I'm a single mom that works 2 jobs.
A single mom, Jessica Davis, and then the head of a dating app company who uses genetics to find your soulmate. hence the cover, whose name is... Yeah, no, I can't say that. Dr. River Pena. Jessica's friend writes romance novels, and they bump into River, and at like this coffee shop they go to every single day. He goes to every single day. They call him American Flat White or something based on like what he drinks for coffee, because they didn't know his name, and they bump into him, and then they grill him about what he does for a job, and then they find out what he does, and then they go volunteer to do a little like nasal swab, spit in a cup situation. I can't remember. I think it was blood work. I think it evolved to
They're all
blood
the
work
same thing.
to get their DNA to submit themselves for this dating app that literally uses your genetics to find partners for you. And then there's a big scandal that you find out, and you must read more to find out. It was really good. It was 4 stars. I loved it.
My next book of February was Wild Card by Elsie Silver. I read this on the way home from the trip, finished it when I got back shortly thereafter. This is about Sebastian and Gwen. Sebastian is a firefighter pilot, so for wildfires, he's the one that goes and picks up the water. Gwen is a yoga instructor. I gave it 3 stars. Rose Hill series was very much a 3-star series for me. They're good romance books without a whole lot of depth to them. Low stakes romance novels.
For funsies.
Yeah, so.
The next book I read in February is Pucking Around by Emily Rath. This one took me a long time to get through because she's chunky. I started this in January. This is the follow-up to That One Night. This is about Rachel Price, who is a physical therapy-esque something. So she gets paired up to be with a team, and she works for the Jacksonville Rays, which is a hockey team. And she shows up on her first day. Down the hallway comes the guy that she hadn't seen in months, that she spent multiple nights with. So Rachel goes to Florida, which is ironic because it's Jacksonville Rays, Jacksonville, Florida. So Jessica goes to Florida.
Holy shit, the Chicago Bulls are in Chicago?
She sees Jake walking down the hallway. He doesn't recognize her, which is like a slap in the face because they spent multiple nights and she has been like fantasizing about him for months. And he has about her too, but for whatever reason, he doesn't recognize her. Bullshit.
Order in the court.
And so what's even funnier is Jake's best friend Caleb, who is the equipment manager, picks her up from the airport, and they have a moment, a meet cute, and he has a crush on her.
Oh no,
But he's
poor
best
Caleb.
friends with Jake, and then she reignites her relationship with Jake, and then there's this goalie who's like super not shy, but like isolates himself from the rest of the team. He doesn't socialize, he doesn't interact with anybody. He has his rituals, he sticks to it. And because she basically sat in his seat because he's ginormous, he needs 2 seats on the private plane, and she refused to move. And then they won the game. She had to sit next to him on every plane ride. And then they also have a connection. Yeah, it's very, very, very spicy. Very spicy. But there's a lot of moments where I was like, LOL. But a lot of moments where I was like, this is really cringe.
Oh my god.
And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
and I was like, do I even want to finish this? I don't know. Some of the things they'd say, I'm just like, come on.
Ugh, I hate that.
Like,
That just recently
just
happened.
like when they're doing the twister, the naked twister. Like, some of their nicknames and some of the things they say to each other, I'm just like, come on, this is not even realistic in one tiny bit. I gave this 3.5 stars. I was not going to continue the series because if they were like a continuation of this, I was not interested. It was good in the beginning and then it dragged out. It did not need to be this long. But I think the next book is Her Best Friend and a player on the team. So I am interested in that.
2026 apparently is the year for hockey romances.
I think it was just because it was winter time.
Yeah. Ooh. Next, I binged The Lucky One, and one day, I did not mean to do this. I started it and finished it in 6 hours. I gave it 5 stars. This is by Nicholas Sparks. It was fantastic.
And then you watched the movie and did not like.
Yeah, no, I hated the adaptation. I'm not gonna lie. I think the problem though is because I kept thinking about The Longest Ride, or no, Dear John, while I was reading The Lucky One, and so I was thinking that the mailman character was Channing Tatum, and it's not. It's Zac Efron, and it just kind of killed the whole vibe. I think it was a very low budget movie, unfortunately, and I only have very high ideas for Nicholas Sparks because The Best of Me is my favorite movie. I should probably tell what the book's about. The Lucky One, Logan, is a previous Marine who served 3 tours in Iraq, and while he was in one of the tours, he found this picture of this girl at a carnival who looked so lively, whatever. And on the back, it says, "Stay safe," or something like that. E. And after picking up this picture, Logan encounters several different scenarios, multiple, over years, in which he should die, like a bomb happens, or a building collapses, or they get ambushed, and anyone that is with him doesn't die. And so his friend's telling him how, like, it's fate, and this picture he has is a lucky token, and he should go find this girl, blah, blah, blah.
You'll have to read and find out. The next book for February. This one was on my February TBR.
I was going to say, this is the one that we did the dice roll for, right? We counted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Or like the spin the wheel. No.
Mm-hmm.
And the number.
Mm-hmm. Number generator.
Mm-hmm. So this book has been on my TBR for a very long time. A lot of people like it.
It's actually the 8th book on our TBR, if you were curious. I believe that was the number that
Like
was generated.
Like it's been on there for a long time.
It's a different day. Could you tell?
Our battery died.
We had lots of problems. We both had to work the next day.
And it's several days later. So let's resume talking about Caraval. Caraval. So it was a 2.5 stars, and that is very generous.
Okay.
Caraval by Stephanie Garber. It is YA, and it is a story about 2 sisters who live in a kingdom. So it's like YA fantasy. So a kingdom. The older sister writes to this man who runs a caraval every season, and it's supposed to be like this wonderful time. XYZ.
Yeah.
And he never replies to her, and then all of a sudden he sends her 2 tickets and invitations because she's getting married to this prince.
Grass is always greener.
So her and her sister go to Caraval with this man who has a ship and like sails them over there, blah, 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 whatever. They get over there, grass is not greener.
Oh no. Book club book. Hidden Pictures!
Woo!
I like this a lot. I give it 5 stars.
3.5 stars for Hidden Pictures.
Don't read a lot of thriller. I was laughing one time. Did you know that one time, I forget what we're doing or what we're talking about. We were like, oh yeah, romance and fantasy and thriller. And I was like,
no, Sarah doesn't read thriller.
don't. But no, it's a horror, right? I don't know.
It is, but you still don't read that.
Yeah, I don't read horror or thriller. But it was so spooky. And it got me really good. And I think it did all the things it had to do. Twists and turns were great. So I give it 5 stars. I really liked it.
I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of twists and turns, like Sarah said, but there was a lot of things where I was like, this doesn't add up. Like,
it's because she reads too fast. She doesn't pay attention to the details.
No. I feel like there were certain parts that were like unrealistic to me. Like, yes, it made, like, it portrayed to, like, the story being good, but at the same time, it was a little bit unrealistic. The fact that, like, the kid didn't even remember that.
That's just how it worked in their world.
Whose world?
This one.
Okay. But also, like you're telling me,
How many people do you know that have been possessed?
how many people have you known that have been possessed?
None.
Okay.
So we don't know if they remember or not.
Exactly. But at the same time,
This is our first fight, guys.
3.5 stars.
5 stars.
We are going on to 7 Year Itch by Amy Dawes. This is a kind of enemies to lovers romance. I give it 4 stars. It's one of the Mountain Mud brothers in the series. There's 3 in the whole series that live on a mountain. Dakota and Calder kind of have like a very much hate relationship. Dakota has a t-shirt shop in the local town, and Calder is a carpenter who goes around and like builds houses and does independent projects. He was helping her redo her house at one point when she was married and destroyed her house. She is best friends with Calder's sister-in-law.
His brother Wyatt's wedding, which is destination wedding.
And they're forced to stay in the same hotel room.
GBBL.
5 stars!
4 stars. It was going to be a 5 stars and then it wasn't.
Boo.
I think the ending it wasn't as
Yeah.
as the rest. I don't know. I think if I maybe read it in one sitting, it would have been.
I feel like because most of it I read it in the one sitting, and then I just enjoyed their banter so much that I was like, this has to be 5 stars.
Alex, Hayden, and Margaret. Yeah. Margaret has whole big, like, it's almost a mystery just for Margaret. And then Hayden and Alice form a bond. Kind of enemies to lovers, but really not. More rivals to lovers, but not even.
Yeah, they're kind of like, they're both writers for not necessarily like a magazine, but like...
No.
No, they're writers they're trying to write a book.
For Margaret.
For Margaret's memoir, but...
Oh, I guess not. I was thinking memoir was for someone who's dying or dead.
I mean, no, but yes, at the same time.
Biography, question mark? What's the difference between a memoir and a biography?
I don't know. Do you know?
No.
No.
I thought memoir
biography?
was for dead people. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Maybe a biography. I don't know. Alice and Hayden are basically competing to write the story of Margaret. Margaret is this big, like, not necessarily movie star, but like she is married to a movie star. Her family has a dynasty. It's very famous.
Fictionary
blah, blah, blah.
Kardashian with just one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they only have a 1 month period to show Margaret what they got. So
and
therefore, who will be writing it? And along the way, Hayden and Alice kind of just keep bumping into each other because it's a small island, and then they form a connection.
And then you find out a lot of things.
Yeah.
Please read it because I gave it 5 stars. Sarah gave it
4 stars.
So
it was good.
It's
just different.
It's different for Emily Henry, but it's good. Next up is My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. I gave this 4.25 stars.
Will you emphasize? It really got me.
This book starts off with a husband and a wife. The wife goes on a run. She returns to her house, tries to open the door, but it's locked. Husband opens the door with another woman. And she's like, who are you?
That's not right.
Yeah, this is my house, my husband, who are you? And the story goes from there. She tries to uncover lots of things, and lots of weird shit happens.
Reenacting my first take. I did not know this.
I think it's a new novel by Alice Feeney. It came out, I think, in January. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. For those of you who have not read it or heard of it, highly recommend.
End scene. My next book was A Good Animal by Sarah Moore. I rambled about this one. It's about Everett. I think he's in high school. Oh, he just got his license, so I think he's a sophomore. Everett grows up on a farm, a sheep farm. His dad breeds lots of show lambs. Him and his siblings and his best friend showed lambs for a living. Well, for 4-H.
Sorry.
I don't know why I keep doing that.
For a living. Actually, just for 4-H.
Everett's dream life is to grow up breeding these lambs just like his father and to have his small town love and just live in the small town. And he meets Mary. Mary's new to the town. Her dad is in the army or in the Air Force or something. I forget which one. But so she's a military brat. They move around a lot constantly. She has big dreams of being an artist in the city, in the big city. And Mary meets Everett. And then some things happen. They have to make big decisions on if they're going to stay together or not. And I think you should read it. It's definitely more of a character-driven story. There's not a whole lot of plot. It talks about the lambs a lot, but it was really beautiful in the way that it talked about it. And for me specifically, it's a book of the month book. I chose it because it was taking place in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which is where my aunt currently lives. Also, the 4-H and the lambs I didn't know about when I first picked up this novel, but quickly became part of my favorite parts of the story because it was very reminiscent of the people around me growing up. Did a lot of 4-H. I grew up with a lot of friends who had farms, specifically sheep, also lambs, and I don't know what's the difference, lamb versus sheep. I don't know, but 4-H, county fairs, everything like that. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, same. But I did not show any livestock. I only showed dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. I showed dogs.
This is a lore dump. What?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't show any livestock because we had a beef cattle farm and my dad did not necessarily want me showing cattle, mainly because it was like a really busy season for them in the summer. So like they couldn't really help me show cattle. So
there's a lot of love and loss like about the life cycle of animals. Like it really does touch on all of it. And it is very beautiful. It's Sarah Moore's debut novel, and I will say it was very, very good for the debut novel. I gave it 3 stars, but like in the best way. It was just kind of slow moving. It's only like 260 pages, so I definitely recommend just be prepared for a slower story.
All right, Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This is a story that I borrowed from the library. I was on a huge library kick in the month of March. I borrowed this book from the library because I've heard about this multiple times and it's highly rated, but it's not an author that I have seen write a lot of novels. I think she's only written maybe 2.
Oh.
So I didn't want to necessarily buy it, but I did want to read it. So I borrowed it from the library and I rated it 4.5 stars. This is a story about a wedding planner and a florist.
Oh, yeah. Wait, this sounded good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very good. So this is a story.
Say the thing and then I'll react the same way.
So this is a story about a wedding planner whose mom has remarried multiple times. I think she has been remarried maybe like 25 times.
What?
Yeah, like 25 times.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. So the FMC has basically created, I don't know how she has a love for planning weddings when her mom has been married so much, but she does.
As she should.
And she loves...
Mom, pay up.
She loves planning the couple's special day. She ends up basically like securing this big influencer's wedding, and they really want this florist, and she has a history with this florist, and it's kind of rocky, so they demand having this florist for their wedding, and she really wants the basically like what's the word? She wants kind of like the clout of planning this couple's wedding.
Oh, as she should.
For her business, to get her business like even more popular than it already is.
As she should.
So she really wants to do it, but she is torn between working with this florist and wanting to elevate her career. We see that unfold in real time, as well as her past with this florist, because she does have a significant past. And it kind of goes from there. It was very good. I highly recommend. It was 4.5 stars.
Throttled by Lauren Asher. We had an entire debate about the fact that I don't really care for Lauren Asher, but I'm gonna give her another try. She said, "Don't continue with this series. Do a different series, The Fine Print," which is what I'm probably gonna pick up because I've heard a lot about that and it's been on my TBR for a while. Now we're caught up. Great.
Woo!
This book is about Maya and Noah. Maya is Santiago's sister, who Santiago just joins Noah's F1 team, and Noah is known as a world champ. Santiago's just kind of in the beginnings of his career, I think, and Maya's following him along for this season, because she doesn't really know what to do with her life, and she really wants to pick up vlogging. So she's vlogging the whole F1 experience in all these different countries and this, that, and the other. And I really, really, really liked the storyline. Hated the writing. So I said earlier, not in the same way as A Good Animal, in the worst way. I gave this 3 stars. There was a lot of, we were talking about the movie references. Oh my God, there's so many movie references, and I don't understand why. They don't make sense. If you've never seen the movie, you'll still know it's a movie reference. You just don't know what movie it's from. And like, it irked me. I don't know. Some of the banter was cringy. Some of the situations were just really unrealistic in like an awkward way. And I just really didn't like it in that way. But the story itself and Maya and Noah's relationship, I really liked. It's just, I don't know. It put me in a slump. It took me a month to read this book. It's really going to kill my freaking ratings, my stats. I'm kind of sad about it, but it's okay. So I don't really recommend this book. I don't know. I don't really care for it.
Yeah. 56 Days, another book that I borrowed from the library. So this book I borrowed because Prime released a TV show. I have known about this book for quite a time. I knew of it when it released a couple years ago and was actually really interested, but then I heard bad reviews. So this book takes place during COVID-19, and these 2 individuals basically like quarantine together, and then it's kind of like a thriller.
Again, I don't expect that. You're telling me a story and I'm like, oh yeah, good romance where they're quarantined together.
Yeah,
and then you say thriller and I'm just thrown.
Yeah. Actually, it's a thriller, not a rom-com. The show was significantly better than the book. The book I gave 2 stars. There was a lot of potential. The show, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 7 out of 10, if we're giving it Rotten Tomatoes type of ranking.
That's why you keep saying 4 out of 5. I was like so confused why you kept like out of 5 stars. Like I was so confused why you did that last time. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll give it a 7.
I feel like 4 out of 5 versus 7 out of 10 is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I agree. I understand why you're saying that. Yeah.
IMDb 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 4.
That was funny.
Anyway, so moving on, we're going to go into our next book.
Oh, 5 out of 5 stars.
5 stars.
Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. It was so good. You're gonna hear a lot more about this because we're starting a series of our buddy readings. We should have done it with Great Big Beautiful Life. We did not think to do it.
Which is okay.
Yeah. We're gonna watch the adaptation and then we're gonna come at you with all of our thoughts and feelings. But to give a quick summary, Elizabeth Zott in the early 1960s is going through her life. She's totally feminist, but in the best way possible. Not in the current modern day, I hate men feminist, but in the way of, I know that women can be equal to men mentally. And I know that I was going to say physically, but that's not true.
Women can do things men can do.
Mentally, women equal men. She knows this. She knows she's better than most of her male coworkers. And so this shows the whole timeline of how Elizabeth is paving her own way, saying it how it is, making people uncomfortable, challenging the status quo, etc., etc. It shows her meeting the love of her life. It shows her having her child, Madeline Zott. It shows her getting her own TV series, Supper at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I love Elizabeth Zott. She really just is the epitome of what you would look up to in a woman, I think.
Yeah, I really, really like actually Elizabeth and Walter's relationship. They're both parents of children who are not necessarily like troubled, but like they're children who are not the typical norm. So they might ruffle a couple feathers with their teachers or their peers, blah, 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 blah. You know?
They're raised by atypical parents.
Yes.
Highly recommend. You'll hear way more later. A totally spoiler episode of all of our thoughts and feelings.
Yep. 5 stars.
Last but not least. 5 star, 5 star.
What did I say? 4 stars?
4.25.
4.25 stars. Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna.
We're going to reenact this. My first Kristen Hanna novel.
That is insane. We lost the footage. How? I don't know. Because Kristen Hanna is queen. I've only read 3, so that's not really saying much, but none is crazy.
I just know that crying at this book was a canon event. This book follows Meredith and Nina and them trying to figure out their mother. Why their mother seems to not love them, especially growing up. And there's just a lot going on. And so the past day timeline is mom in 1941, World War II, Russia. It's following the Soviet communists. It's going through all of the heartbreak and disaster that is happening.
Yes.
And it's a heartbreaking, devastating, beautiful novel. And I love it. And I sobbed.
It's just Kristen Hanna never fails to write a historical novel that centers around either sisters, familial love, relationships,
Powerful women.
She's just so good at pulling at your heartstrings. Honestly, I have never had an inkling to pick up Winter Garden before, but so glad that we read it for book club because it was amazing.
So worth it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a fantastic movie too.
Yeah.
I really do.
So good. And that's all the books that we read in the first quarter of 2026.
If you want to see second, third, and fourth quarter, just check back later because we're definitely going to film those. Comment if you read any of these books, what your favorite is. If you disliked any of these books, if you want to pick up any of these books, let us know. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see other content kind of similar to this. We're going to be posting every Monday.
Every Monday at 5 p.m.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.